this is just on deforestation alone.
Godzilla 3.
Okay, deforestation, this is the given factor, which means that this particular factor must be discussed during the paper itself. Okay, when you're writing this, you must discuss this. And for the stand, how do you make the stand? What is the thing you must challenge? Based on this question here, what do you have to challenge? There's this one keyword that you have not make sense of it yet. Yes, correct. So for this, right, you have to mention that whether or not this is the greatest cost. Okay, this will be in your stand. Okay, whether you agree or you disagree. If you agree, your stand will be deforestation is the greatest. If you disagree, something else that you will bring up will be the greatest cost. Okay, so before you even start the question, you have to do this because that will help you to guide and to figure out how your entire essay is going to look like. Alright, so this essay, before you even start, you have your given factor. What are some other things you can bring up for your other factor? What are some other causes? Pollution from? Okay, industries, correct. What else? Volcanoes, will it cause greenhouse effect?
Car.
Car, okay, car usage, burning of fossil fuel, correct. What else? Agriculture, correct. Agriculture, you produce a lot of CO2 as well. Okay, there's one more.
Cows, yes.
Cows, yes, correct. Cows will be for the agriculture. Okay, I'll give you an acronym here that will help you to figure out how to write this. Okay, so can you jot this down somewhere? Okay, I want you to use this acronym to help you to remember the cause of deforestation. Okay, so you know what this is, right?
Sure.
This is like the Google of China. Okay, so this is what it stands for. So just now Jadrian said burning of fossil fuel, that can be used for cars, right? So he mentioned, so for example, usage of cars. Okay, and then someone else said just now pollution. Okay, but the idea is that from industrial activities, there's a lot of CO2 being produced. If you go, I don't think you have your paper. Can you write it down on another piece of paper? You have your book?
Right.
Okay, can you write down? Okay, if you need paper, here, come and take
Now I
it.
can see clearer. I really looking fun. Thank you.
Okay, then the point that you didn't mention is urbanization. Urbanization here, what do you think urbanization means? Okay, HDB, a lot more houses, a lot more cars, a lot more people needing air conditioning, and so on. Alright, let's do a very quick recap first. Alright, let's just give kind of recall what we've learned long ago. For burning of fossil fuels apart from cars, what else would require fossil fuel?
Electricity.
Electricity, your homes, right? So you see this B, right, is linked to U, correct? Burning of fossil fuel is linked to urbanization. What else is linked to burning of fossil fuel? Industry. How? How do you need fossil fuel for your industry?
Electricity.
Okay, for your electricity, good. Electricity production. Okay, and if you want to transport your goods from one place to another, okay, transportation also. Does this anything else requires fossil fuel?
Urbanization.
Yes, mentioned already. Agriculture. Does agriculture require burning of fossil fuel?
Yes.
Why?
Tractor.
Tractor, right? The machine, right? Okay, good. So all these here, you see, actually we use a lot of fossil fuel here. Die faster, yes.
I see this as an absolute.
Heavy machinery.
Agriculture.
Okay, here for urbanization, you have electricity.
Amazing.
How about deforestation? Do you use fossil fuel when you are deforesting?
Yes. Yes. No.
Do you?
Yes.
You use the machine, right? So I guess you kind of need some of this as well. Okay, to transport the wood and all that. Okay, electricity.
Charge the machine. Okay, okay.
Okay, so these are some broad ideas first. Alright, so just jot this down. These are just some broad ideas. Okay? But have we answered the question? Does this cause greenhouse effect? How? How do the usage of fossil fuels, how does urbanization and all these cause enhanced greenhouse effect?
Produce harmful gases.
Yes, it produces greenhouse gas, right? Can I move on to the next slide? Can I? Okay. How exactly does it cause enhanced greenhouse effect? This one we have not answered at all. So just now somebody said greenhouse gas. Okay, it produces greenhouse gas. This here, either one of these. Produce greenhouse gas. What is the greenhouse gas that is the what is the main greenhouse gas that is produced? Carbon dioxide, correct. So in some cases it produces CO2. Okay, but for your cow farts, methane. Okay, it produces CO2 and it also produces methane. Okay, and how does this lead to enhanced greenhouse effect? Because at this point, till this point over here, we have not answered the question. Trap something. Trap what? Heat. Good. Okay. So this here, the most important point here is for you to say that all this CO2 traps heat. Traps heat where?
Where?
Okay, in the atmosphere. And the atmosphere. Which causes enhanced greenhouse effect. Okay, I don't have enough space, therefore I'm writing it in short form. Okay? Enhanced greenhouse effect. Okay, enhanced greenhouse effect. Right? So this here is linking it to the question. Okay, if not, you are just writing a lot about the given factor or the other factor, but you have not mentioned the link to the question at all. Okay, if you go back to the question, you see that you have to mention why is it a cause of the enhanced greenhouse effect. So this part is actually very, very crucial. You must have this inside your essay. If not, you're not answering the question. Figo, you're being very distracting and you're very distracted. Can you put that away? Okay, so this here, jot this down, and now I'd like us to move on. Okay, how will you structure your essay? How will you structure your essay? You have your point, and then elaboration or explanation. Good. What else?
Heat.
Example and
Heat.
link. Correct. You don't need a heat because
Who interpret thesis?
you don't need that because this one you just go straight to the point. Okay. So in this essay, you have this here. The given factor is compulsory. You must write this. EGHG, EGHE is enhanced greenhouse effect. I'm just writing it in short form. This is compulsory. And the other factor, what are some of the topics you can use? Some of the cause of factors that you can use.
Volcanoes.
Okay, urbanization.
Why say volcano?
Okay, urbanization is one of that. What else can you write for the other factor? Shira, what do you think?
Agriculture.
Okay, good. What else?
Burning of fossil fuel, agriculture, industrial activity, deforestation, urbanization.
Okay, good. So basically you can write all of this.
Write what?
Do I have to write all three?
I told you.
It's quick, easy, right? So I just pick one that I'm comfortable with. Okay? Burning of fossil fuel is like an overview. So you can link it to everything, but for this case, you just pick either one of these three, it will do. Okay? Now what I'm gonna ask you to do is, okay, before I move on, you have to remember that you must write your stand. Okay, your stand, you have to decide whether deforestation is the greatest cause, or agriculture is the greatest cause, or urbanization is the greatest cause. Okay? So you can use the concept of scale, cost, and time to analyze your stand. This one we'll do together later. Alright? Before we start, I want to give you a sample. So I'll give you two possible deforestation paragraphs. But in the actual essay, how many do you write? Just one. Just one, okay? One on deforestation. You don't write like 3 on deforestation. Okay, so here, take a look at your textbook. In case you have forgotten this, you can't remember a single thing, can you turn to page 104 of your textbook? Page 104 of your textbook. Oh. Okay, anyone do not have your TYS?
Oh, textbook.
Okay, if you don't have your textbook, you can sit with somebody who has it. Alright? So you want to move, you can just move your chair and sit with somebody who has it. So maybe
Enjoy the book.
okay, you can move.
Enjoy the book.
One of you can move over. Gerald, you can move over here. Okay, move.
Why?
You got
I'm better single. Oh my god.
一个而已啊，一个呢？
Move quickly.
I love you.
Any doesn't.
Okay, look at page 104. Right? For this here, for the point over here. Okay, the boys, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, what will you write as the point on deforestation? What will you write for this portion over here? Deforestation. Yes, you will define it. Thank you. So Darshini says that she will define it. Okay? I think Yu Ling found the definition. What's the definition? Can you read out for us?
Deforestation is the loss of forest due to the removal of clearance of trees before severe deforestation.
Okay, thank you, Yu Ling. So this here, the description or the point here, you write a definition, which is this. Okay, so on your own paper, you can write it in your TYS directly, or on a separate piece of paper. This would be the point statement. Okay, does it need to be very long? No, it's just one statement.
Just like one form.
No, not point form, Saleh. Good try. Okay, so this here, deforestation. Okay, write this down. Either on your TYS or on a separate piece of paper, but be clear to note that this is a point statement. Up to you. You write it in your TYS so that whenever you refer to it, it is there. Or if you don't have it, you want to write on a separate piece of paper, go ahead. Okay, I give you that flexibility. So this is first paragraph, sample paragraph.
What do you even remember?
Okay. When you study this, you have to memorize word for word.
Yes.
Actually, you know, right? Deforestation means you remove the forest, remove the trees from the forest, right? So if you need to, you explain it in your own way, so long as you get the key ideas there. Okay? Now, the next statement that you gave me just now, the link, right? You said that CO2 causes enhanced greenhouse effect because it traps heat. Okay, we have to explain that. How does deforestation cause CO2 to increase? Okay, Phoebe,
Then
you were saying when the trees.
When you cut down the trees, you emit carbon dioxide.
Okay, when you cut down the trees, you emit carbon dioxide. Is that the case? Think about it.
no,
Jadrian, what do you think?
no.
Someone, how is CO2
Then there will
produced?
be no trees to produce oxygen.
Okay, and there's no
Taking
trees
carbon
to
dioxide.
take in carbon dioxide. So that's more accurate. Okay, so for what Jadrian had said, Jadrian said that when deforestation happens, there's no tree to take in the carbon dioxide. So that can be the explanation here. With deforestation, fewer trees to absorb the carbon dioxide, and as a result, there is more carbon dioxide than normal in the atmosphere. Can follow so far? Yes. Okay, if you have questions, you raise your hand and then you ask. Saleh, I don't think you have photographic memory. Just jot it down. So just jot it down. Okay, just jot it down. Okay, so this is an explanation. This is one example of an explanation. Phoebe, have you written this down? Or should I have you?
Working on your phone. She say later need go clubbing. Wow, clubbing. Lying lah.
Okay, thank you.
Climbing something.
Okay, so you see the explanation, it is not difficult. Must you memorize this?
No.
No, right? This one is something you know since you were in primary school, right? So it's not difficult. So don't go away with the idea that LOMS is very difficult to do. A lot of this you already know it. You just need to be able to phrase it appropriately when you're writing your essay. Okay, for those who are already done, can you look at your textbook and see if there are any relevant examples that you can quote about deforestation happening? Yes? Amazon forest. What about the Amazon forest actually? Where is that found?
Amazon forest.
It's in the picture, is it?
This one, the between 2000
Yeah, so that's one of them you can use. Okay, so in your textbook you have quite a number.
That's only one.
Your textbook you have quite a number of examples. One example that you can find in your textbook is this. Okay, so Australia, for instance, this is at the bottom of the Choropleth map on page 104. In the caption, this is stated there. Right, this is the amount of rainforest, the amount of forest that Australia had lost in 5 years. So every year, how much forest does it lose?
One forest.
0.5 million hectares. Wow. Okay, and then the link. What will you write to show that you are linking it to the question? Hence, okay, good. Therefore, good.
0.4.
And then you have carbon dioxide. We mentioned that there's an increase in carbon dioxide. How do you answer the question?
This traps heat
Traps heat and
enhance.
causes enhanced greenhouse effect. Okay, good. So when trees are lost, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere traps more heat, causing enhanced greenhouse effect. This here, right, I need you to take note that there is a need for you to mention that there is more carbon dioxide that is trapped. Okay, more heat, because in this case it's enhanced greenhouse effect. Okay, so on our Earth, right, the only reason why our Earth can support life is because we have greenhouse effect. It keeps the Earth warm so that the temperature fluctuation is not too high. Okay, but the problem comes when it's enhanced. Okay, because this one is not normal anymore. So the only reason why it's enhanced is because there's more heat that's being trapped. So the reason here, the reason why you have to include more heat is because you are trying to address this. Okay, this is sample paragraph 1. Okay, we can make some changes later for sample paragraph 2. So far I hope that you've written down the link, the example, so you can see very clearly where, like, how much you have to write. Because many times students are quite unsure of how much you have to write to fulfill the needs of that paragraph. Okay, once you're done, you look up so I know that you're done, and then I can continue. Thank you, Jadrian, for that awesome demonstration of what looking up means. Okay, done? Done? Okay, I'll wait for a little while more. If you read your textbook, right, there's this thing about soil oxidation that we have not touched on yet. Soil oxidation we have not touched on it yet. Okay, so there's another possible paragraph that you can write. Okay, there's another possible paragraph that you can write. So, if I were to move on to the next sample paragraph, I can write about the carbon oxidation because of the oxidation of the soil. Okay, to make it very very clear for you, okay, sorry, you just ignore this first. You take a look at this. I can keep this here. I can keep the same point because the deforestation part is still the same. This one I can keep. But my explanation, if I want to focus on carbon oxidation, then my explanation has to be a bit different. Okay, carbon oxidation over here. And I'm trying to explain this. So what I'm trying to say is that because of carbon oxidation, because of deforestation, the soil is exposed to sunlight, and as a result, the carbon in the soil reacts with the oxygen in the atmosphere. And then as a result of that, you produce carbon dioxide. So this process is known as carbon oxidation. You are explaining. Okay? So this is something slightly different. If you want to use this in your paragraph, go ahead. Right? But I'll just encourage you to write this down. This part down especially. So you can see that if you retain the P over here, you just need to change this to explain a slightly different thing. Okay, so jot this down. Your sample paragraph 2, P can be the same.
Don't even two of them.
Don't need. This is just another sample, just for you to get a sense of how you can write
So you can
different.
choose not to write or
Sorry?
you can choose if you want to write or not.
Yes. So this one here, no, I mean for your sample paragraph, right? I want you to write this part down. Okay, I want you to write this part down. But in the exam, or in the case of homework and so on, when you are describing or explaining for this
Only one
particular question, you can use this explanation. It's up to you whether you want to talk about the previous one, which is I think slightly easier, or if you want to talk about this, it's also okay.
Okay, which one more important? This one or that one?
This one I would say is a bit more difficult. If they ask you soil oxidation, carbon oxidation is the main reason for enhanced greenhouse effect.
So that
Then
one
you
better.
must use this one.
That one easier.
That one is easier, correct?
Okay, then don't copy this one.
Just jot this down. It's not that hard. It's just this.
It's harder.
I
Okay,
know
it's
right,
not that
Simon.
hard.
Copy you.
But it's harder.
Point form.
Just write it down.
When the first, then deforestation happens, full stop. Yeah.
Oh, this is the second one.
Yeah, this is the
Hey, why
second
copy?
paragraph.
Why copy?
Second, sample paragraph. So for this, can my example and my link be the same? Yeah. Can my example for paragraph 2 be the same as my example for paragraph 1?
Yes.
Why not?
Just say yes. So that
Yuling, what do you think? No. If you can give one that is focused on carbon oxidation, that would be best, right? Is that the case? Yes, that would be best. But if you're saying that you want to talk about deforestation, how extensive it is, you can also use the same example as the one previously. Okay? So in this case, you must make sure that you know at least one example for deforestation. Okay?
I don't know the answer. Stupid.
Can I move on? Good. Shira, okay?
shut up.
So example can be the same thing, but for my link, can I just copy and paste?
No, cannot. Different point.
Different point, good. Different explanation. So actually what I will have to do is I have to link it closer to soil oxidation. Okay? So when soil oxidation happens, sorry, when there's, can you change this? It is carbon oxidation. Sorry. Oops. When carbon oxidation occurs, there is more carbon dioxide produced, and the same thing as what Phoebe had said just now, there is more heat that's being trapped, and this causes enhanced greenhouse effect. So I hope you all get the idea that it's actually not very, very difficult, it is very doable. But provided you have the content in your head, right? So that is the difficult part where I cannot help you. You must work on it on your own. The content part, you really must start revising.
Here.
She's one of higher. Free bacon. You can just walk past.
Okay, so for this, I'd like you to look at the individual work
I
currently.
haven't finished it.
Can. By right, for this question, you are only allowed to spend 12 minutes because it's a 6-mark question. Okay, we have now another 20 minutes, but I don't think you need 20 minutes to do this. Alright, so I want you to write the OF, which is the second paragraph, either using agriculture, urbanization, or industrial activity, and I want you to write the stand. Which one do you think is the greater cause for it? Okay, so on the piece of paper here, because I want to collect this for marking, so can you write it here? Okay, when I return it to you, you can staple it into your TYS. Right, the sample paragraph I already given you, but I'd like you to try this now. OF is the second paragraph, is the other factor.
So just write the
Lesson play.
Yes, the second factor,
No.
the entire paragraph. Okay, write the entire paragraph. Same question, yes. So you can use,
Either one.
so you can use this here as a guide. This one, use it as a guide. You can either write agriculture, industrial activity, or urbanization. Okay, so very quickly look through your textbook which topic you want to try and you want to write it. Okay, I see that all of you here had chosen your other factor. Think about this, your stand. Which concept can you use to put in your stand? Which one will be the easiest? If you want to discuss this, right, can we use the idea of cost? Can we talk about cost? Does it fit for this one? Not quite right. Cost usually we keep it for solutions. Okay, this is the solution for tourism. This one is most expensive. We shouldn't recommend this at all. That's one example. This one not suitable for this question. It's more suitable for a solution question. Okay? Can we use the idea of scale or area that it affects? Can. Okay, if you remember scale, what are the categories under scale? Okay, local, good. Local and then? Okay, regional. Global. There's one more. National, correct. So you think about it, which one is which one affects, no, which one is at a greater scale? Okay, if you talk about industries, is industries at a bigger scale than deforestation? Okay, which one is at a bigger scale? So that will help you to make your stand more easily. Okay, can we use time?
No.
Yes.
How long does it take? Not quite right. In this case, not so suitable. Okay, so this one you can ignore this. Alright, for now you can ignore this one. So this would be the easier concept to use.
Laughing at everything.
Okay, continue to write.